least 19 people in Minnesota were sickened by E. coli poisoning tied to a national recall of 167,000 pounds of tainted ground beef. We also talked about organic carrots recalled last week. A number of things from this bacteria. To talk more about this is Dr. Samir Islam to talk a little bit about this bacteria. Headlines for a few weeks about the onions from McDonald's as well. So can you talk a little bit about what E. coli is and why it is so dangerous?
So E. coli is a bacterial infection that commonly is in foods such as beef, poultry, and even onions. And the reason it's so dangerous is that it can be so easy to get. Just a small amount of bacteria can affect thousands of people. But not only that, the symptoms can be pretty severe. A lot of diarrhea, a lot of pain, and even dehydration, and for some people, even death.
We hate hearing that too. And I know a lot of people get really scared because they hear that and they're like, oh, I did eat that, or I did. So how does food get contaminated from this bacteria?
So unfortunately, it's just from not cooking the food correctly. So if you have undercooked food that already has the bacteria in them, they'll cause the bacteria to stay in there, then you eat it, then you'll get sick yourself. But if you also don't wash your hands and you have the bacteria, this will also cause contamination to occur. This is why it's very important to make sure you wash your hands, or people who are cooking their food can wash their hands as well.
Okay, and you mentioned beef and poultry. Is there anything else that's maybe more common for this bacteria than other things that we eat? So
things like eggs, for example, and sometimes even water can contain the bacteria as well. So it's always important to be careful to know where your food is coming from, but also make sure it's in a sanitized location.
Okay, let's say somebody does eat something and they kind of get some of those symptoms like you mentioned. What's the first step? What should they do?
Well, luckily for most people who get E. coli, the symptoms are pretty limited, so meaning they will resolve on your own. But if you were worried or if there's any concern, the first thing I would recommend is go to your doctor first. They're the front line, they can see what's going on, they can do some stool testing and see if you need any further treatment beyond that.
Okay. Does it sicken certain types of people more than others, or is it something that just kind of, you eat it, you're going to get sick?
So unfortunately, it can affect anyone. It's an equal opportunity infection, but there's certain people that can get more sick. So those that are younger and those that are older tend to get a little bit more sicker. So those are the ones, and those individuals are the ones we want to maybe keep an eye out more sooner, see what their symptoms are, and maybe be a little bit more vigilant about how they're doing when they get E. coli.
Okay, so double check where you're getting your food from and also how long you're cooking it. But best thing we can do just so we don't get sick, correct?
Absolutely. Those are the best things you can do to make sure you don't get E. coli.
Okay, sounds great. Dr. Samir Islam, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me on.